Everyone, and welcome back to my sewing room. If you're new to my channel, my name's Diane and I like to share with you the things that I've been making in my sewing room. As you can see from the footage at the start of this video, it's just a flimsy. It's on the wall at the moment. I thought I'd put it there to make it look pretty. I haven't got round to quilting it yet. Hope to do that maybe this week. If not, I'll share with you at the end why there might be a bit of a delay. But so yeah, it stopped raining here in the UK for a brief couple of minutes, so I put it on the line to take some images outside, and now we're back in while it's raining again. So pretty much that's our weather forecast: rain, rain and more rain. But perfect sewing conditions, I would say. So this quilt, I have got a design for it. As you can see from the bottom, it's a little bit scruffy. There is a reason why it's a bit scruffy. And what happened with this quilt is I was sort of making it up as I went along. And when I was sewing the blocks together, I realised as I was putting it together that in the very first block that I made, I should have made it a different size to make sure that everything else fit nicely around it in the sewing process. And so I had to alter the first block, and I will write this out again, this design. I also treated myself to a lovely tin of brightly coloured pencils, all different colours. And so in this one, this is just for my guidance as I was working. That's not representative of the colours that I used. What I will do is write it out again in a manner that is more easily understood, and then you can follow it if you want to. I'll also put a black and white copy on my community post so that you can colour in if you want to in your own colours if you're thinking of making this design. So it's all 3-inch squares and 3-inch half square triangles, nothing else. So it's quite an easy quilt if you don't mind making triangles. So the flimsy. The delay came with that because of the colour selection. So if you've been watching me for any time, you'll know that I'm always looking for fabric bargains, basement bargains, because fabric is so expensive, isn't it? It's beautiful. If I had unlimited resources, I would probably walk around saying, I'll have that, I'll have that, I'll have that. I've never bought a complete bundle of fabrics, a full fabric line. I think the good thing about working with one particular line is that the fabric always works in the same way. So whether it's to do with the making of the cotton, whether it's the spinning process, or whether it's the weaving process, or whether it's the colours that they use in the dyeing process for the fabrics, I'm not sure what it is, but they do all behave in a slightly different way. It can say 100% crafting cotton, but like I say, act in different ways. And so I thought that I might like to use all of the same fabrics in one quilt and see how that worked. In the end, I used 2 different designers, and I'll show you those 2 now. And as you can see, they're both well-known names, and they are both beautiful cottons. So I didn't know when I started buying this fabric that I would be able to buy such a good selection of the one range. Just one appeared in the sale, and so I bought that, and then another one, and I bought that, and so on. And there were 6 in the end of the Dancing Dahlias. And so, but I didn't know that at the time. It took a few weeks or a couple of months really for me to buy that. And the same happened with the Celestial ones as well. I bought those over 3 different occasions, but I thought they all worked really well together, those colours. And so I just sat them in the cupboard thinking that one day I would put them all together. And then when this orangey yellow came, I just fell in love with it and thought I want to put that in a quilt straight away. And so, you know, you can't start a fire without a spark, can you? Because this gun's for hire. Honestly, dancing in the dark, that's why this is called that. I just can't stop myself now thinking of the words and humming the tune. The fabric selection came, very happy with it. I was starting to think about where I would put the different bits of fabric on the design, but it all worked differently next to each other. I'll show you a little clip of how differently the fabrics work, and some looked really flat together, others really bounced, and so I'll show you how a little fabric swatch comparison now to show you why I had a little bit of difficulty starting this quilt. So you can see the dilemma I had with the selection. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed the process of it. It took time. I didn't mind that. I would just lay them out on the table and pop in and out and see what I thought. It would look completely different in different colours. So when I put the design on my community post, I will put a black and white image for you so you can colour in your own, and I will use different colours, I think, just to show the contrasting fabrics and lines. So now I'd like to share with you the construction of this flimsy. The first block, like I say, I altered. As I was finishing all of the blocks and working my way back to the centre, I realised that if I just altered that first block slightly, it would make the whole putting together of the quilt much easier. And so I did alter that first block, and I will show you that on the new design when that goes on my community page. So initially you'll see the small block, you'll see all the blocks come together, and then I alter a little bit. So let me now show you how this quilt came together. And everything was coming together lovely. And whenever I am doing chain piecing or I'm making multiples of blocks, I always make one first just to make sure everything fits nicely and I like the colour selection. So I made the first of this block, and there were 8 of those, and I liked the way that it looked. I put it on the display board and thought, right, yes, I will go ahead and make the other 7. Well, I made one correct, the one on the board, and then I made 7 incorrect for that little flash of yellowy orange in the wrong place. And so I just had to undo the corners of those 7, put them back together and put them on the board, and then continued with the quilt. And you'll see now that as I reach that centre, I make a slight alteration. So I'd made all of the blocks, and then it's a matter of piecing it together. And so because I'd made that alteration, I had a centre panel down the centre, and I had 3 sides on the left and 3 sides on the right. So I joined the 3 sides on the left together. When they were one panel, I put the border around the outside. There's a 3-inch border on the edge, and there's a little bit of an angle between the orange and the grey just to carry the design out. And then I did the same on the right, and then I joined those to the centre panel, and then I put a border around the top, and then I've just put a narrow border of the orange around the whole thing. Like I say, it's ready now to be quilted. I have got everything I need to finish it apart from time. So I think I mentioned earlier that my sister was visiting. She's popping over from Spain for a while and spending some time with us. And so I have been busy putting things together, making it nice for her arrival. And I'm not going to have very much time, as much time as usual while she's here. So we'll be out and about. So I'm not sure when that'll get done. So I'm beginning to pack away now my sewing room, but I will share with you some of the other things that I've been doing. So on Tuesday of this week, I popped over to Project Linus and I dropped off 4 quilts. So I will quickly insert now the 4 quilts that I sent off so you can see those. And while I was there, I picked up 10 labels, so that's going to keep me going for a little while, making Project Linus quilts. Jan from Jacksonville, Florida. Hello, hope you're okay and the weather's okay where you are. You mentioned a couple of times about these seed sack quilts that you make, and you collect them as well, as far as I can gather in one of your recent posts. I'm not sure how that you would put an image on the community post. I have seen in other people's videos that people can put images on there. So if you have done that, if you're watching and you know how to do that, if you can upload an image onto someone's YouTube community post, perhaps you might like to put that on the comment, because I know Janet would like to share some of the things that she's collected and made, and it would be lovely if we could see each other's. When I was at Project Linus, you know, they have a show and tell, and it is lovely to see everybody's quilts. So if you know how to do that and any tips, Jan from Jacksonville, Florida, and myself would be grateful. So I think that's all I wanted to say about the community post. I will get the new design up as soon as I can. Like I say, I've got to find a bit of time to do that. And I did mention last week that it was my birthday, and I just wanted to share this lovely card. So I know there's a lot of keen gardeners out there. It's like a message in a bottle, 3D, and you can just about see that there's a greenhouse and there's some figures in there. And I just think the engineering of these cards, I know now that you can buy machines that pre-cut all these lovely images and put them together, but isn't it beautiful? So I'm going to keep that in my quilt journal book. I'm thinking now it'd be nice to do a greenhouse quilt, some sort of ornate frame with plants in. I don't know. I just get completely overwhelmed with ideas sometimes of quilts I could make. The heritage and the vintage quilt design that I want to make, I have bought some more fabric. I'll share that with you next week. I think I just need to write a list of all the things that I like most about them, and then that will narrow the field of design down, because at the moment I just can't get anything on paper because there's too many things. I think possibly what I need to do is make more than one heritage, vintage type antique quilt, because I was looking the other day for inspiration and clarification. I know the ones I like, and I came across some Dutch quilts and they had chintz in, and I thought, oh, floral, that would be nice. So just too much at the moment, so I think I just need to take a few minutes and write a list. A list is always good when you're confused, isn't it, of all the things that I'd like to include, and see if I can put some in one quilt and some in more than one quilt. So that's the heritage quilt. The bulbs, the tulips have finally gone over. I'll show you some images of them. They smell beautiful, the hyacinths. I'm leaving all the doors open now. We live in a bungalow, a single story building, so I've got all the doors open and the scent is circulating around the house, so that is lovely. The tulips have finished, so I'm going shopping tomorrow, so hopefully I will put those in the garden, deadhead them, put them in the garden, and I will pick up something else to go in the pot. And I think I'll just share with you the hellebores, just beginning to put a little bit of height on, just beginning to open. I'll share them now because I'm not sure when I will be making the next video. I hope to have a quick chat next week. My aim is to do weekly ones, but like I say, I'm not sure how things are going to go. So let me share with you the hellebores now. And that's it from my sewing room this week. I don't think there's anything else. Have a really lovely, lovely, lovely weekend sewing, whatever you're doing, and I will speak to you again soon. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll finish with the quilt blowing in the breeze. See you again soon. Bye.